Welcome back, everybody. It is October 29th. We are back. Gus Morris, Kienan O'Doherty, breaking down our rankings here after week 9 of the high school football season here in Sonoma County. Week 10 is fast approaching. We have some pretty amazing matchups here coming up. Some league races coming down the stretch. RAC Valley will probably be decided this week. RAC Adobe going to be decided this week. RAC Bay was probably decided last week. Yeah, lots of awesome storylines here coming up this week in week 10, but let's break it down from week 9 and kind of how things went down. A very exciting week. Saw some pretty I don't know, like maybe some surprising, some very interesting, some important results, I'd say, all across the board. We're going to start here with our bubble teams, but Sonoma Valley keeps rolling. They're 8-0, 2 wins away from completing a 10-0 regular season. Definitely 2 winnable games here coming up the next couple of weeks. Maria Carrillo keeping up their historic start to their season here at 7-1. They're looking like a surefire playoff team and maybe a sneaky contender there for the RAC Bay. I know we talked about Ukiah St. Vincent. We'll get into that one here in a little bit, but Maria Carrillo still also undefeated in the league. Still to play both those two teams here down the stretch, but great start. I mean, again, great season for Carrillo at this point. And then Ukiah dropping down from number 7 last week. They were losers to St. Vincent, 35-24. They're now 5-3 on the year. So yeah, definitely our first big change this week. I think from the last couple weeks for sure. I don't think we had any change in our rankings last week, but yeah, Ukiah dropping out there from number 7 back onto our bubble here this week, heading into week 10.
Yeah, definitely. After kind of a stalemate the last couple weeks, pretty consistent rankings, things get shaken up once again, Gus, and I kind of have a feeling that these if these rankings are going to change even more after this week and then possibly in the weeks to follow. So, I mean, honestly, Sonoma Valley and Korea, they might just want to call that bubble their own. They've been sticking with it for the past how many weeks, yeah, Ukiah joins them obviously this week, but both those teams are playing really good ball. Sonoma Valley, of course, one of our only local undefeated teams left. So we'll see if they can keep it rolling, go 10-0. But yep, they're still in the bubble for now.
Yeah, no, very cool kind of note there too that you mentioned. There's a cool write-up in the Chronicle this week or last week, talking about some of the undefeated teams all around the Bay Area, and there's all the private schools that are really good, including Cardinal Newman, who's 8-0. But among the ranks that have, 2 teams that have a chance to go undefeated this year are 2 local teams in American Canyon and Sonoma Valley, both 8-0. We'll talk about American Canyon here in a bit. Massive, probably biggest game of the year they have coming up for them this week against Casa Grande. But very cool kind of side note to this season, I will say. All right, moving on real quick up into our top 7. Number 7 this week is Rancho Cotati, dropping down last week from number 6. They're now 4-4 on the year. They lost to Marin Catholic 30-0 last week. They're still winless, and RAC Adobe, kind of some danger zone here for the Cougars. I think we talked about it last week, but Cougars need to win one of their last 2 games here to be eligible for the playoffs. They're eligible for the playoffs right now, but if they finish 4-6 on the year, if they lose to both Windsor and Marin Catholic and San Marin down the stretch, they will not make the playoffs. So massive, and first time since I think 2003 for Rancho. So some big games here coming up for the Cougars down the stretch. But yeah, they're coming in here at number 7. Definitely, big chance for them this week. They're hosting Windsor, and it's in their second to last game of the regular season and end of league play. So Rancho kind of needs to get something going here last 2 weeks to keep their season going.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, it's been a tough road for the Cougars. I know I know the RAC Adobe is no joke, and this, their kind of start kind of proves how big of a gauntlet the league is. But still don't count them out. I mean, they could get that last win, sneak into the playoffs there. But for now, they're our number 7 team in the rankings.
Number 6, we talked about Ukiah dropping out. Well, the team moving up is St. Vincent. Mustangs are 7-1, jumping all the way from the bubble there to number 6. Took down Ukiah 35-24 last week. hosting Montgomery this week, and then finishing out the season against Korea a week after that. So 7-1 on the year. St. Vincent has looked probably, like I'd say, one of, if not the best small school teams in the Bay Area. Ever since that loss to Trekkie early on in the season, but currently I have them as the number 2 seed over there in Division 7. I think they'll probably end up as the 1 seed in Division 5. Sorry, I think they'll probably end up as the number 1 seed in Division 5 when it's all said and done. But St. Vincent, again, kind of after not having a ton of challenges throughout the season, again outside of Trekkie. Again, their one loss, go up and they beat a very, again, a very good, well-coached Ukiah team in Ukiah, which is a very tough place to play. So, and I think that's also their first win over Ukiah too. Obviously, last year, Ukiah had that big come from behind win, but I don't remember if the year before they even lost that game too. I don't think they did, but I think they've lost.
They blew them out.
That's right. Okay, but I think they lost the year before that, right? Wasn't that was the last game at Ukiah?
Yeah, 2 years ago was the last game at Ukiah because last year it was at Petaluma.
Okay,
and so I'm not sure about the year prior to that.
Okay, either way, still a massive win for St. Vincent too. Again, over a very good Ukiah team, so that will definitely benefit them going forward in the long run. And I think, like you also wrote about too, Kienan. Biggest test so far, I'd say since the Trekkie game, and they passed it with flying colors. So great win for St. Vincent last week.
Yeah, totally. Without a doubt. Let me see here. This is great podcasting. So yeah, they up until last year, they had won 3 straight meetings against Ukiah. Back on the winning train against the Wildcats. But yeah, it was a St. Vincent on the front foot all night long. Ukiah couldn't really get much going. Did end up getting a lot going on the ground in the second half and stuff like that, but St. Vincent was just, when in doubt, trust the juniors, and the backfield duo of Mason Cattarelli, Gabe Casanovas really put them over the edge there for sure. Quick note, it could be an interesting couple weeks here for the REC Bay if Marie Carrillo, who plays up in Ukiah this week, can get past Ukiah, then they'll host St. Vincent in a basically winner take all finale in the last week of the season for that Bay title. So could be a couple interesting weeks here in the entire REC as we get going for the Valley and Adobe League deciders, which we'll talk about in a sec, but also for the Bay as well, could be an interesting couple weeks. So St. Vincent rewarding them, jumping them from the bubble last week up until 6 this week.
Coming in here at number 5 is Vintage, 5-3 on the year. Lost a tight one last week to Windsor, 14-7. Couple losses now for the Crushers after opening the Adobe with a win over Rancho, but looking to bounce back this week, playing on the road at San Marin, looking to kind of snap a little 2-game skid here, but tough, definitely a tough finishing stretch here for Vintage to close things out. San Marin this week, and then I believe it's Cardinal Newman to close things out. I think at home fun week. So
these schedules don't get any easier, man.
It's the Adobe is brutal. The Adobe is brutal, man. It's crazy, but it was definitely a close game. Vintage actually led early. Windsor was playing without star wide receiver Hayden Anderson, but still grinded out a tough win, defensive win. Again, very, quality win for Windsor. And I think this also shows that, Vintage, maybe not a team to be to be overlooked at all. I think in any means. I know everyone's banged up. I know they're banged up, but they definitely have some pretty imposing size on the line. And, I think they're a lot more balanced on offense too than they have been in years past. So, Vintage 5-3, staying here at number 5 in our rankings, where I think they've been parked there for a couple weeks now, but staying here at number 5 with a couple weeks left.
Yeah, totally. And you mentioned the Crusher strength for sure, and keep in mind, we're talking about how tough the Adobe slate is. Vintage gave Cardinal Newman one of their toughest games last year at Cardinal Newman too. They were up at halftime pretty big. So wouldn't be surprised if that turns out to be a great game, the last game of the season. No doubt about it. But yeah, Vintage just keeps playing everyone tough, man. I don't know how else to say it. They're just a tough, gritty, grinded out team. Dylan Leach is doing a great job over there with those young guys, and yeah, they stick at 5 for another week.
Yep. All right. Now moving up into a very exciting couple teams here, but coming in here at number 4, staying at number 4. I think they've been at number 4 for a couple weeks now. But American Canyon 8-0 took care of business last week. 42-14 winners over Napa. Undefeated on the year, like we mentioned earlier. Biggest game of the year. REC Valley titles on the line here, hosting Casa Grande. Casa Grande is our number 3 team. We'll talk about them here in a second, but massive game coming up for American Canyon. Wolves have been really electric and fun to watch, and their offense has been great. Their defense has been great, and it would be very cool to kind of see a team like this, come out of the pack and finish with an undefeated season. But I know Casa will have a lot to say about that this week. So they've had a couple of very fun games too, I think, the last couple of years, if I remember correctly. So playing in the VVAL, old VVAL opponent. So I'm excited for this one, Keenan. I know you're going to be out there. I'll be over at Marin Catholic Newman on Saturday. So some big games coming up, but I'm definitely excited to see how this AmCam Casa clash plays out on Friday night.
I am so pumped for this one. It's honestly, this is great. I can't wait for this. Honestly, obviously Casa completely tore American Canyon apart in the first half last year. They were up at halftime big.
Yeah.
Canyon can really come back, but now it's at American Canyon's home turf, the Wolf Den, which honestly is becoming one of my favorite environments in the area. It's just so much fun. I don't know what it is, but Coach Trevor Hudson and company have started a real culture change there, and over the last couple of years. So it's a blast. But as like you said, we're going to talk about Casa in a bit, but this is one of the area's top offenses going up against one of the area's top defenses. So because Casa's defense has been lights out since obviously Newman. So Newman, and then the loss to San Marin probably. But American Canyon sticking out 4, and who knows? We'll see if they can stay undefeated on Friday night, Gus.
Yeah, let's see. To go to your point here, so it looks like, American Canyon has scored 38 or more points in every single one of their games this year. So they're probably averaging in the mid 40s for points. And then Casa has allowed just 2 touchdowns defensively in league play so far. One to Justin, and then one this past week to Tam. So
2 shutouts too, right?
Was that
or a couple shutouts for the Casa defense?
Actually three on the season. They also shut out Balboa too, and then again they held Rancho Catani to 2 touchdowns too. So again, very excited for this matchup. 2 of the better teams in the area going head to head. Lots on the line, so excited to see how that one plays out. But jumping up to Casa, talking about them, 6-2. Had to grind out a win over Tamalpais last week, 14-10. Ugly game. I was at that one. Just penalties, a couple key injuries. Casa quarterback Danny Mercado looked like a little stinger on his throwing elbow. Came back in the second half. I was told he wasn't going to come back in the second half, but then he did. Kind of fought through some pain. It was more of like a mental thing. He just said it felt kind of weird to throw, and but he came back, made a couple nice passes there down the stretch. But it was backup quarterback Joey Serta who delivered the game-winning touchdown on a little trick play, a little halfback toss over to the side, and Serta, the backup quarterback, lofted one up to a pretty lobster, and he hauled it in with about, I think that was like 8 minutes left to go, and then Casa got a couple stops late. So Casa just, was not the prettiest of games, tons of penalties, just a slog down game. Thursday night game too, lack of officials was the reason for that one being played on Thursday. Kind of a weird, short week to prepare. Just playing Thursday night is kind of an odd situation as it is. So, but Casa persevered. Definitely be interesting to kind of see how how Danny's kind of progressing this week, seeing if his arm's feeling better. Because if he's limited, that's going to be a big detriment there for Casa. Danny's electric quarterback, super fun Super fun to watch, great kid too. So, that'll be something big to monitor here this week heading into that game. But yeah, Casa still kind of rolling right now. Like I just mentioned too, with the defensive stats, they've allowed 2 touchdowns, all season, in league play so far. They did give up a safety to Tamalpais too in that game. But other than that, I mean, 17 points allowed at this point is pretty dang good through 4 games of league play. So Casa rolling right now. But yeah, big test this week coming up against AmCam, and looking forward to seeing how that one goes.
Yeah. I mean, to your point, I think every team's gonna. I mean, if you want to be a great team, you're gonna have to grind out those ugly wins, right? And Costa did just that. I guess the one positive coming out of playing on a Thursday is with Mercado banged up is you get another day to prepare for an extra day to prepare for AmCam, right? So that could be the only positive here, but playing on a Thursday, to be honest, Thursday night lights kind of weird, but regardless, Casa staying in our 3 spot for now, and just ready to roll for Friday night.
Ready to roll, no doubt. Coming in here at number 2, our last 2 teams here. Windsor coming in here at number 2, staying at number 2. We talked about that win over Vintage this past week, 14-7. Again, total grinded out win, just kind of like the Casa Tam game. But Vintage was up. Vintage was up 7-0 early. Was looking to go up actually 14-0, and then Samir Bear, I think that's how you pronounce it, got a key interception that ended up leading to a game-tying touchdown for Windsor there just before halftime. And then Wyatt Morris punched in his second touchdown of the game. I think that was midway through the 3rd quarter. And then Windsor, just made a couple big defensive stands. So, good win for Windsor. Again, just, this war of attrition, I think, here in the Adobe League is really impacting a lot of teams. I'd say everybody kind of outside of Cardinal Newman. Newman just seems like they don't have a lot of big injuries. They're super deep. Everyone's healthy. Like, it's kind of a rare situation there here for Newman, but Windsor definitely still fighting through some injuries right now. I know, like I said, Hayden Anderson was out last week. I think he's going to be back this week for the Rancho game. We'll see how that one plays out, but a tough week for Windsor, and they were able to kind of grind it out. This is what good teams do. So 6-2 here with a good chance to finish out the season with, a couple strong performances can help them with their playoff seeding. They're playing again. They're at Rancho this week, and then they finish out the season with Marin Catholic in the final week of the season. So see how it goes for Windsor, but a gritty win here for the Jaguars this week.
Yeah, another ugly win, Gus. This is what great teams do. This is what great teams do, for just sure. But yeah, Windsor. Yeah, I think you hit all the nails on the head there. Windsor staying at number 2 for another week, and we'll see how they finish out league play here.
No doubt. All right, coming in at number 1, our season-long number 1 team, staying put. Cardinal Newman, 8-0. One of the most impressive wins I think I'd say of the season. Absolutely.
Defensively, for sure.
Oh, my God. Offensively, too, they were great. 31-3 winners over San Marin. This is a matchup between the 4 and the 8 teams in the North Coast section, and it was not close. It was close for a few minutes. Actually, for about 20 seconds, it was close. San Marin got a field goal with about 30 seconds left till half. Kind of a slow start for Newman offensively. And then Newman freshman quarterback sensation LT Retamosa found Devin Bertoli for a 70-yard score, and
Jonah
Bertoli, not Devin. Sorry, Devin's the lineman. For a long score, and that was and after that the race was on essentially. Newman scored. What was that? 17 unanswered to finish out the game. They held San Marin to 92 yards of total offense, 26 of which came on their final drive with the game all decided. So it was just a defensive masterclass for Newman. I think I had Bertoli down for 169, 2 touchdowns, career game for him. First game, actually crazy to say, he's such a good wide receiver, but first game ever for him in his career with over 100 rushing or receiving yards. And then Retamosa, his best game so far as a varsity starter, at him for 273. 273 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, and then he had 1 more rushing too. So he is just going to be the real deal. He already is really good, but he's going to be so freaking good when it's all said and done. Biggest game of the year. Windsor was for sure the biggest game of the year, heading into that one. But I don't think, you can say that this one coming up this week is this one by far I think is the biggest game of the year for Newman, playing at Marin Catholic, the team that's ended their season the last 3 years in the NCS playoffs, in NCS title games, none of which have been particularly close. And Newman is going to be coming in here, I think, as the favorite team. Now, again, Marin Catholic playing good ball, 6-2. This is going to be in Kent Field on Saturday at 2 p.m. Again, long history here between these two teams, but is this Newman's year? It's kind of feeling like it the way that they're playing ball right now. So we will definitely see. But talk about some high-powered premier matchups. I think this one probably might be one of the top matchups in all the NCS this coming up this week. So very excited to see how this one plays out for Newman.
Yeah. Real quick before I get into that game, but I'm pretty sure Newman was rewarded a little bit for their San Marin game. I think they're up a spot in the NCS rankings or for now, but we'll see. We'll kind of see how that shapes out once the playoff seedings come out. But Marin Catholic. I mean, there's not much to really hype it up even more than you already did. But I mean, this is going to be a defense on defense slugfest. I mean, these two defenses are just insanely good, just insanely sound, insanely technical, and just two of the top defensive units in the entire section. So we'll see which offense can kind of figure that out and take the lead there. But this is going to be so much fun Saturday in Kent Field. I know you're going to be there. You wanted this one, so you got it. You get to go down to Kent Field on Saturday, and yeah, we're so between this and the Casa Grande AM-Can game, I'm just so excited for this week, Gus. This is going to be fantastic.
This is what it's all about here, Keenan, no doubt. Yeah, I mean, to your point about the defensive numbers too, Marin Catholic has led 1 touchdown so far in Adobe play, which is just kind of insane to say. I mean, these are 3 perennial playoff teams in San Marin, Vintage, and Rancho Cotati, and they pitched 2 shutouts. So, this Marin Catholic team again. I know there have been some questions about them. They may not be like the high-powered, crazy Marin Catholic team of old. Their top playmaker Braden Bosich Dixon is out. Is I'm pretty sure still out with a collarbone injury. So, their biggest playmaker is out too, but. Marin Catholic is Marin Catholic. They have this kind of aura and this prestige for a reason, right? They're just always a playmakers, always some guys who step up. Their defense is always great. So very excited to see how this one plays out. But yeah, I mean, again, between American Cannon Casa, between Cardinal Newman, Marin Catholic, even between Ukiah Carrillo, Windsor Rancho. There are definitely some high-powered matchups all around the North Bay this week that I'm very excited to kind of see how things go. So
one more thing, Gus. Newman and Marin Catholic boast a combined scoring differential of 119-11 over the past 2 games. That is just absurd. This is absurd. But I mean, Newman stand at number 1, obviously for obvious reasons. I think I've said this before, but I think there's a solid gap between Newman kind of and Windsor and everyone else. So get ready for this week, folks. It's going to be a big one.
2 more weeks and then playoffs are here. So just again, last couple weeks we're going to have some fireworks here all around the North Bay. So we'll have you covered, but a little longer for us today, but thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll catch you guys on the other side of all this action next week. Who knows how it's going to go, but we'll be breaking it all down same time next week. So thanks everyone for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys then.
Thanks, guys.